Welcome to episode number 6 of the Walmart Sellers Podcast. I'm here with two people who are smarter and better than me, and I'm excited to pick brains. If everyone will please look at my name on the screen, it is my name is the real James. James is an imposter. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. We can cut that out. Anyways, Amy, thank you for coming on our podcast and talking with us. You recently had a 7-day suspension. Mm-hmm. I recently had a 7-day suspension, and I'm looking forward to compare notes. And I appreciate you being so willing to help. Like when we were talking, you were just like, people need to know this is how it could go. Here's the risks. Here's different things. So, anyways, yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, guys. But yeah, it's as when you and I will discuss. It's not 7 days. It's really 10 to 12, really, to get you back up and going.
Yeah, there's a guy in the Discord that had a 30-day suspension, and his is still going. So I wish I knew some rhyme or reason, but what I'd like to talk about in this podcast is ways to prevent it, ways to keep it from happening, best practices. I know you're in Arbitrage Avenue's Facebook group, and you're pretty active in there. And shout out to her, by the way. I think good thoughts about Sarah every time I call UPS and order more boxes.
I know.
So I actually called today and ordered and did the whole thing, and I actually pulled up her screenshot from where she posted the numbers, and anyways, what can we do to prevent more Walmart suspensions? What are you doing with your account and like your friends and whatnot? What are you telling people?
Well, I stopped being lazy because I've been selling on Walmart for about 2.5 years. So I was back when you couldn't actually get rid of a SKU that you weren't selling. So I had a really huge catalog, which added to my issues when I did come back live. But I'm keeping a very clean catalog now. Any comp errors, any IP complaints, anything, you've got to address it really quickly now because it's not making sense who they're suspending for this stuff. And they don't really give you warning. As Cody and I will both tell you, you get an email and you're shut down and they won't talk to you. I mean, even with other connections of people helping me going to the Seller Summit last year, having some connections of my own, they're like, we'll talk to you in 7 days. And I never sold the item. So it goes back. So last November, in the madness of Q4, I found a humidifier filter on clearance in Walmart. So I grabbed a couple for a test buy. As soon as I ingested it, immediately to WFS because I love WFS. I do probably 95% of my stuff WFS. So even though it's Q4, I ingested it. It went to a comp error. My procedure at that time was my VA would open a case or I would open a case, see if we could clear the comp errors. You get them cleared about 50% of the time. Because it's Q4, when the comp error came back, we put in a request to delete it. And then I carried on about Q4. And then I'm on winter break with my family, trying to take a vacation, not looking at email. Come in that day from going to the out and about in Pensacola, look at my email about 7 o'clock at night, and I am suspended. I searched trash, I searched my emails, Danny's email, we searched everything. We were given no warning. So back in November, I added an item to my catalog. It immediately aired out comp, opened up a case, got denied, thought I retired it, carried on with Q4. 90 days later, I'm suspended for 7 days. Never sold it, never added stock. But there's a key word of the product that I added, and it was antimicrobial. Walmart is so picky about antimicrobial products, whether it's a cleaning product, a humidifier, there's cell phone cases, there's even notebooks that are antimicrobial. That word, you can sell it. I could have sold 1 million merchant fulfilled. The issue with antimicrobial products comes when you convert it to WFS. So had I kept it merchant fulfilled, no problem. Could have sold those filters merchant fulfilled, dropped them in a box, never would have got suspended. But I converted it. And antimicrobial is a big no-no with Walmart and WFS, with Walmart WFS. And
Interesting.
the thing actually, even Walmart had trouble. It took 4 cases in over 2 weeks of me daily going in and bugging Walmart to finally get that SKU removed from my catalog.
Yep.
I got suspended for something I A, never sold, and B, couldn't retire on my own. After I wrote my plan of action and came back up, it took 4 cases and just kept being pushed and pushed and pushed before they could get that one SKU out of my catalog.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, for everyone that listens to this podcast that doesn't sell on Walmart yet, that wouldn't know this, there's no system to know this before you add it to your catalog. So Amy's system and my system, James' system, is we try to add it. And if it tells us we can sell it, then we sell it. But either way, it's like the hunting trap where the raccoon puts its hand in and then it can't get its hand back out. Yep. It's in your catalog. You can't, like Amy said, you had to do cases and cases. I have a pipe dream that Walmart sellers, the Instagram page, or somebody higher up that's paid $500,000 a year or something that's in charge of this type of stuff. They might see this podcast and realize, oh, this is really crappy. Like, these people are just working, we're all in our basements, I think, just trying to build a small business. And we've chosen to sell on Walmart because they sell us this kind of great opportunity. There's tons of content about how they want new sellers. They want to support new sellers, blah, blah, blah. And then, you hear people getting 7, 14, 30-day suspensions for stuff outside of our control, and that's a problem.
And they do, and they'll throttle you without warning. So it's different. So I'm entering year 13 on Amazon. So I've sold on Amazon. So I started in 2012 on Amazon. So back in the
That's amazing.
early days of Amazon, and then I've been on Walmart we ramped it up really. I sold on it. My account's so old. Walmart came to me one time and said, "Here, do you want a Walmart account? All you need to do is enter this little bit of information. Here you go." So when it talks about people, oh, how do you apply? I have no idea. They set my account up for me. I have no idea. And then I okayed a couple of things. It was a Q4 3 years ago. I sold a few things, walked away from Walmart. I was busy, still Amazon. And then my husband got downsized from AT&T. And so we brought him into the business full time. And I'm like, here, this is some stuff I'm gated on Amazon. Why don't you go see if you can sell it on Walmart? So we started selling on Walmart in February. So that's why I say it's 2.5 years ago, but it's been full time for 2 years that we've been selling. So we were back to the days when it was hard to list, with spreadsheets all the way. You couldn't delete or retire. You had to archive. You couldn't buy postage and shipping inside of Walmart. So I've been around for a long time.
Same.
So to say that, because you don't know if you can sell things or not, my catalog had grown to over 6,000 SKUs.
That's amazing.
So here's the thing. So I have active at any given time. Right now I'm running about 1,200. Q4 I can have 2,000 SKUs. So I never cleaned up my catalog because a lot of them were archived and I just didn't look at them. But another thing is I found a way to game competitive pricing. So I used my old out-of-stock items because even though Walmart says, hey, these old out-of-stock items don't affect your competitive pricing score, they do. They do. And you can game. Your old out of SKUs that you don't intend to replenish, put them for $1.49. I don't care. You can match any price you want. So my competitive pricing score was running in the 90%. So I was pro seller.
Wow.
Dang.
And so I found that, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to game the system. So we went through the VA, like just on all these old SKUs, just match whatever price. I didn't care because I wasn't going to replenish it. So then I had a huge catalog of 6,000 SKUs. So here's the fun part, and Cody and I will talk about this. When they turn you back on at Walmart, they turn you on SKU by SKU.
So then they have to turn on 6,000 SKUs.
Yes. So
Yeah.
every 3 to 5 minutes, a SKU goes active. Now you can go in and you can force them by editing, but also any SKU that has a validation error. So I came back live that week where everything was erroring out because they added that new case pack.
Yeah.
So all it was doing is it took me and my VA about a week of cleaning up my catalog. We had to force over 2,000 SKUs active again because and delete them. So we were looking at them. Were we going to replenish them again? We had to retire. We had to delete, depending on if they were WFS or seller fulfilled. So it was just so time consuming. And then here's the lovely, lovely part that nobody tells you about. When you're suspended, as Cody will tell you, it's like you start day one all over again. You don't have a 2.5-year history. It takes you 90 days to even be considered for pro seller. Early payouts, mine did come back, but they make you wait a month before you can get early payouts again.
Wow.
So your money,
no, I'll get it back.
Yeah, you know,
I just had money held up, like,
Yeah.
and I just assumed that I'd never get it. Like, I just kind of said, well, that money's gone, whatever, and eventually they paid me again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it took forever.
you have to, because that's one thing I sent Cody a message. I'm like, just to let you know, you're going to be about 3 weeks without money. I mean, on a 7-day suspension, because they started all over again. So you don't get, I got like $400, which was like an early payout. And I got that. And then it was 3 weeks and 2 days before I got any more money from that.
Because it jumps you to the next cycle, and then you have to wait the whole cycle.
Right,
to
and then
get
you don't
paid.
qualify for early payouts till you hit the number of sales again and velocity, and then they start your early payouts again. So I've started all over with, I'm not eligible for, lost pro seller, not eligible for pro seller. You go a long time with money, so it's a lot more than just, hey, 7 days. You know, it takes, you're going to be without money about 3 weeks, and it's going to take you really to come back and see sales. So I came back up on Monday. Thursday I had a $600 day. So it took, I had 6 orders, and it took me the weekend before I got to 600. It took me about a week to get back to where I was really getting sales again. So it took me like 2 days to get 6 sales. And I remember that Thursday when I had a $297 day. I'd never been so happy to have a $297 day. I was like texting my little mastermind group going, I'm up to $297 today on Walmart. It's, I'm still down to 2,000 errors, but, I've got the $300 day. But, it's just, it was so frustrating. And that's what I told Cody. I said, nobody knows about it. And then when I posted, people reach out to me, but they're like, but don't tell anybody I got suspended. And I'm like, but that just hurts the community.
Yeah, because people are so unsure of the process now, not sharing that stuff. Like, yeah, it sucks that it happened, but nobody's gonna know that it takes you like all that time to publish all that stuff. A lot of people would just open a case and start freaking out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
Feel very lonely.
that's not worth not sharing.
Yeah, I'll say this: I took like a full 24 hours and just like kind of pitied myself because I was like, because the way we kind of had things happen, I fully liquidated my eBay, and I mean we ended up selling stuff for like nothing, like 1,000+ items, just because we hate, like, I don't want to deal with eBay anymore, and so eBay was essentially gone, almost gone, and then almost directly after that, if anyone follows my content, I've been talking crap about Amazon for 6 months. Like, Amazon's so hard to do. Amazon's so blah, blah. They don't care about you, blah, blah, blah. Well, then all of a sudden, it's Cody is only doing Amazon again, And so, so because Walmart, they pulled the 7-day suspension right then. And so, I took a whole day and I was just like, this sucks so bad. Like, I can't believe. And they just sent you an email just out of the blue. Hey,
you're done.
You're doing well. You're cooked. Like your account is frozen.
And it's crazy. You can't access anything. The only thing you can do is open a case with your appeal. You can't even look at help. Like, they restrict you even on what. And I'm like, now that
they took my access to the app. I couldn't access the app at all.
You can't access your app anymore. So you can't, and that's the funny thing, and you can't even access help in case you need to help writing your plan of action to look at things.
That's stupid.
That's what, and I've been on Amazon, like I said, for so many years. If you're suspended from Amazon, you still have access to you can recall your inventory. There's a lot you can do. Yeah. You can't do anything with Walmart. So it adds that extra step, but the only thing that was good about that is my friends were like, you're on vacation anyway. So, but I was going to source because you know me, I'm like, oh man, I'm down here. There's Walmarts. There's not a lot of people in Pensacola and that, you know, like that part of Panhandle of Florida that do retail arbitrage. And we have, it's down to a minivan right now, but I was like, oh, we're going to go out and I'll source some Walmarts. I'll source some RA.
That sounds exactly like me. That's amazing.
And then I was like, oh no. So the next day I went eBay thrifting and I'm just like, we were in Fort Walton Beach and I'm just like, I'm not even looking. I didn't even go in a Walmart. I was so mad at Walmart. I avoided Walmart. And in Pensacola,
that's the clip right there.
Right. Yeah, I was so mad at them. I'm like, I'm not going in Walmart. And that was like the closest grocery store was the Walmart market. And I'm like, I'm going to have to drive to Publix. I refuse. I'm like, Walmart's not getting any pennies for me this week. I'm so mad at you, Walmart. Cause
that's funny.
Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, if I would have done something in the gray area, I would have come on and been like, well, you know, I was selling liquidation or, you know, but I'm sitting here going, seriously, I never sold this product and you suspended me for it. So when I go to San Diego, I don't know. I'm like, can I make a poster and just walk around that, hey, you unfairly suspended me and walk around the whole seller summit with this until somebody talks to me? But I'm going to try to get into some one-on-ones, but I'm just like, you need to listen to us and we need to have a voice because if something is kind of like that where you can bring it to their attention, like, hey, I never sold this. Or like yours, Cody, like, hey, it was like 2 years ago. I mean, you need to wait. Even Amazon gives us like 3 days and we'll look at things. And, you know, one time when I was fighting a stupid thing with Amazon, I never was suspended, but they gave me 6 weeks and we continued selling. But I was like, Cody, I was like, I'm done with Amazon. They had dropped to my third revenue. eBay had, because, you know, I do 10 to 15,000 a month on eBay. So eBay was beating Amazon. So I went from over $1 million a year on Amazon to $10,000 a month on Amazon. I've got such, and I was like, I'm Walmart, like you say, to the moon. I'm like, I'm in this Walmart thing. And now I'm like, so you need Amazon and possibly eBay and Walmart to, you know, be able to pivot. And
absolutely.
You know,
always need a backer.
Yeah, you're spot on with that. Like my opinion has changed so drastically because you know, before I went on my whole Walmart to the moon kick, our full intention was to not do anything except Amazon. Just, you know, because you hear some of the guru kind of messaging. It's like, you just don't have what it takes. If you know, like, just keep you know, buying or whatever. And so like I kind of felt that way. I kind of had that mentality like, we're putting all our eggs in Amazon. We're going to, you know, run it up. And then it was cool to have Walmart as a second option. But, like, now I'm open to, you know, whatever, you know. And, like, it seems like at the drop of a hat, one thing I was going to say a second ago, Amy, is one of our mutual friends, I don't want to say his name on here just in case he wants to be private, but he got a full suspension. And the email literally said, like, I can read it. It's, like, scary looking. It says, you may not appeal this. This is a full suspension. You do not have any recourse. We investigated your account or whatever, and you're done. We're never, like, it's like a final suspension. Out of nowhere.
Him.
Yeah, terminated. Completely gone. And so he found a phone number for one of the higher-ups at Walmart or something, and then was able to follow up with them and email them or something. I don't know exactly how he did it. It was a couple days. They turned it back on and apologized. And I was like, if I'd gotten that email, like, I would be so, like, I don't even know if I would have went through the steps that he did to fight it. And he was able to just overturn it. And I actually emailed the person that he talked to, and they didn't email me back about a 7-day suspension. I was like, come on, man, like, that's crazy. But, like, at any given time, it feels like any of these platforms can just have a bad day. You know, their toast burnt at breakfast, and so now they're just like,
the bots
James,
go crazy.
Your whole business that you've been building for, you know, however many years is just, we don't care.
Because they don't,
like, that's scary.
They don't see us as people, so they don't see that, you know, this is how, you know, Cody and I apologize, I don't know about you, James, but I know Cody has kids, I have a daughter, so this is the way we support our family, even some family members. is by selling e-commerce, and we do it because
Yep.
we gives us more freedom, and there's a lot of benefits to it. But it's very scary when you're like, okay, now you're taking potentially a third of my income away. And I think this 7-day suspensions, I don't think it gets any attention, and Walmart doesn't look at it because they're like, it's 7 days. How big of a deal is that?
Exactly.
But it's not Walmart. It's not. So it takes
It's like 2 weeks.
right, and then you're holding
it
money.
wrecked our cash flow for the full month. Like if we hadn't had the retail store, basically what we did is we just leaned into doing more hours at the retail store and then moving that over to Amazon. If we hadn't had those other two legs, like our cash flow would have been like scary looking, you know. And you have savings and blah 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 and stuff like that, but like you shouldn't have to access that stuff over an error. Like call it what it is. Anybody can say what they want to at Walmart. This was an error on Walmart's part, and it wasn't like I did not earn that at all. Like, that was an error on their part.
It is, because if I scan something with this phone on Amazon, it's going to tell me immediately that I can't sell it. Or there's IP alert or Martyr.
Yes.
All these software, Scan Power, they all will tell me restricted. And I know that I can't sell it.
Yep.
So, but with Walmart, there's nothing like that. We don't know until we put it in our catalog. Now, you know, like, okay, and you really don't even know about Better Homes and Gardens. I was going to say we know about Walmart brands, but that's only because the seller communities have said, hey, you can't sell these anymore, because we could sell Walmart brands for a while. Now we can't. So that's why I try to tell people, you got to open up. If you got suspended, you know, for late delivery, let us know how many packages or what happened. You know, it really does. You know, Sarah always says it takes a village, and it really does. You need a community, and you need to be open in discourse, because I'm trying to tell people, we've ignored comp errors. You open up a case. If it goes through, great. You sell the product. If it don't, we're busy people. We're juggling 2 and 3 platforms. We're juggling families. We're juggling maybe full-time jobs. So not everybody has VAs that can go behind, and I have a VA, but we still were like, comp errors, there's more important things. So now all of a sudden, comp and IP errors went to the top of, hey, keep a clean catalog. Don't do like...
It's strange to me that comp errors are a problem as well. Like, I can understand IP, but comp errors, to me, it doesn't make sense why that's included.
If you Google antimicrobial in Walmart, they've gotten into some, because of some antimicrobial cleaning products, there were some lawsuits. So I just think their lawyers in Arkansas are like, no antimicrobial WFS. And they probably are like, oh, well, they've got them, suspend them. And they didn't look, like I said, and you couldn't talk to anybody. Like, nobody would talk to me on the phone. Like Cody said, we could get nothing. We could send emails. That you couldn't open a case. And if I opened up and put my plan of action in before I was turned back on, they would automatically close my case. It was automatically closed and said, send this on Monday after 11:30 in the morning. Then we'll look at your plan of action. So
I assume you have a account rep, right?
What, me? I don't, because I'm not quite. See, I was about to the level to get one, so I'm so old that I don't have one, and then I was about to hit the sales volume to get one, and then this. So now I'm like, I'm gonna have to balance back.
I'm in the exact same boat. Yeah, I don't have a rep.
I literally meet mine tomorrow.
So.
Like,
nice.
Which is crazy to me that I'm on that level of. Oh, hey, by the way, you get an account rep now?
Right.
Because I'd be curious if they can help with any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
I don't think so.
I don't know, and I'm going to ask tomorrow, but...
Hey, suck up to them. Get their phone number and get, like, the whole bit.
Yeah.
She emails me every update, like, that they've been doing for the last week, like, hey, don't forget to sign up for Seller Summit. Hey, fix your CPC stuff. I'm like, this lady's cool.
Yeah.
And you brought up Seller Summit
now.
Your
business is going good.
Yeah. And congratulations on
Amy.
getting to that level. And
if
you can go to Seller Summit, I will say, first of all, I've gone to Boost. I've gone to the old Amazon summits. I've gone to Boost. I've gone to ASD. I've gone to a lot of different things in 12 years, a lot of trade shows. Walmart treated us so nice. So once you get there, it's free. The level that we got, the food, the entertainment, the interaction, because I know the person in the shipping department. So when people had some issues come up with shipping, I had her business card and her direct email, one of like 3 people in the shipping department. So you do make those connections face to face. You have the chance to where you can make appointments and you can sit down. And I had some issues last year on the account, just stupid things, but they were able some late deliveries and things, and to sit with somebody one-on-one with their computer right there and to get, problem solved. That was like a lot of people are doing that at Prosper this week. So if you can go to Prosper, or if you can go to Seller Summit, you do meet within their Amazon reps that come in, whether they're in Arkansas or they work from home or they work in San Jose, they all come to the summit and you can make appointments and go. So it was well worth the trip out there. And so I came back, and that's why Q4, it was 80% Walmart Q4. I did just seller fulfilled on Amazon. I haven't sent an Amazon shipment since last October until I was suspended.
Similar,
and then all of a sudden I'm like, we're going to start sending Walmart back in placement. Amazon placement fees or not, we're going to figure this out, and we're going back. So
I still haven't sent in the shipment. I didn't get quite there, but it's on the table. It's something to consider, because it seems like it's not that hard to lose a leg, but to lose two at the same time would be like unlikely. And
but,
and the comp error, I thought it meant something different. It's compliance, so like it's completely different than the intellectual property division or what. Like they're worried about legal claims on the IP. The compliance is like what Amy's saying with microbial or whatever. I never figured out what the reasoning behind mine was. I was looking at it a second ago. It was BioSteel. It's 100% whey protein.
So you got up. I can tell you a little about So BioSteel went bankrupt, and as a company. But about the time they went bankrupt is when the Celtic sea salt went viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's an ingredient in BioSteel. So unfortunately, the company that went viral a little too late to help the company out. So they hit Bargain Hunt, it hit Ollie's, it hit your liquidation companies.
That's where I got it.
So everybody still wanted BioSteel because you could hardly get Celtic sea salt, and if you were into that type of product, an electrolyte solution product, BioSteel became a very hot product, and it hit every liquidation. And even with Amazon, the Bargain Hunt, when it was there, the Bargain Hunt receipts worked. Ollie's receipts work, even though people will tell you they don't. We know they do. So a lot of people hit it hard on RA. Well, a company, after the whole liquidation went through, a company bought BioSteel. And so the new owners wanted to control the market and wanted to get that older product, the older packaging off the market. So they started hitting IP claims, because I had friends that got IP claims on Amazon who didn't clear up their catalog on Amazon, and so they got hit with IP claims, even though they hadn't sold it now in a year, because it was a bolo like last spring or whenever the Celtic sea salt. It's been more than a year, or about a year. So it was one of those things where you're like, are you kidding me? You're hitting me with an IP claim for something, and then you're not going to take my receipt because it's going to be more than a year old. And it's just,
I didn't even get a chance. They never even asked for it.
Right.
Like I had no way to defend myself on it.
But it's that. So it was just a new parent company that decided to try to control the market and send IP claims out. So you got caught up in whoever bought the BioSteel name and wants to put it back out again. So
that's a great segue into how can we keep this from happening again. Because I imagine if it happens to me again, I won't get a 7-day suspension. I'll get potentially whatever's next. 30-day suspension, termination, sent to purgatory, or I don't know, something. And so what are you doing? What are you being told? What are you telling people? Like, what's some things we can do to prevent this kind of, issue?
One thing is you got to clean up your catalog. Just, like I said, I had old SKUs that you really don't intend to sell again. Retire or delete them. If it's seller fulfilled, delete them. If it's WFS, retire them, because they assure me that if that was retired, if you find something that is a error, a comp error, IP error, any type of error code, and when you go to retire it, I'm keeping the activity feed, we're throwing it in a spreadsheet. And then that way, go back in 24,
that's a great idea.
24 to 48 hours, make sure that it did retire. You can filter by life cycle and see all of your things that are retired that still have an error code. At that point in time, if it's still active, if the life cycle still shows active with an error code, then we're opening a case. And then if they close the case and say, oh, blah, 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 I'm doing it again. I tried with a flat file, so I have tried both ways to update it. That didn't work. So, I mean, like I said, that one SKU, I don't know if it was because they suspended me from it or what. It took extra effort. I was like, please don't tell me to submit it by flat file again. We've done that. We've done it. But we're cleaning up any old SKU. If it's a comp error, we're addressing it immediately. We're opening case. If it comes back and they won't clear it on a case, then again, we keep the activity feed and we attempt to retire it. So, you know, I always remember Joy from Seller Basics telling me to clean up my Amazon. And she yelled at me one time when she was helping me write an account help thing for Amazon. Didn't get suspended, but she was like, you got to clean up this catalog. And I just got lazy with Walmart because it's kind of like the Wild West. Nobody cared for years.
Right.
They didn't care. For 2-3 years now, Walmart, it didn't matter. So, you know, it's a pain in the butt to look at those SKUs. But then when you go through your catalog, there's a benefit. You know, a lot of times you're like, I forgot about that. Let me see if it's profitable now. And then it can become a replan. So we look at shiny things so much in e-commerce when a new software comes out or a new platform. We all squirrel. Amen. I think we all have ADHD. I think all entrepreneurs must have ADHD. Sure. And we see something new and shiny and we go to it and we forget, hey, this product right here, maybe it had too many sellers 6 months ago. Well, they've all moved on to something else. So it's just good to just keep going through your catalog, looking at your old SKUs. They might be profitable now. And if it's not profitable now, then, you know, retire it. If you retire it, you can always reactivate it. It's so easy to bring it back. You know, if it's seller fulfilled, you just takes another SKU if you want to do it. So,
yeah. Also, you may have some in your catalog that you sold, you were completely good on, and then they later put errors or gating on or something like Way to Celebrate. A lot of us were selling Way to Celebrate, and then they capped it. You can't sell it anymore. So you're gonna have new stuff potentially coming in. So like it's not something you can just say, as long as I'm not adding new stuff, I don't need to do this process. Like it's something you should be doing weekly, monthly, maybe daily. I don't know.
And
I do it daily actually. I go in my publish. I retire everything that's seller fulfilled, WFS eligible that's not currently in stock. Because if it comes in stock again, it'll usually pop over. If not, you can always check your unpublished.
Interesting. Wow. You do way more
I keep it clean.
Yeah, need, and that's what I tell people. If you need to. And then one thing too is you need to, because James is checking, because Walmart won't notify you if they find stock. So if say you sent in 20 units, they checked in 10, they said, okay, sorry Cody, we couldn't find these. Here's the payment for the 10 units. Walmart will let you later on. They'll let you sell those 10 units if they find them. Oh, we found this box. Open it, check it in. But they won't tell you. So now James has gone and he's got that SKU retired. You need to filter your retired SKUs by inventory because they'll just drop inventory back in and that you won't know. You won't get an email. I've got, even if I've got a lot of notifications coming in, but Walmart will just drop inventory in. So check your retired. If you're an older seller, check archived. Because like I said, back in the day, we had to archive stuff. We couldn't retire or delete it, but that's where they'll drop inventory. So if you ever had it WFS, go back in and check because you might all of a sudden have a unit of something just sitting there and you're paying storage fees and it's never going to sell.
They did put the catalog back to where you don't see everything now,
I know.
Which is really nice.
It is.
Like, thank God they put that back. So finding that stuff should be a lot easier now, too, as well.
Because you could always look at it via life cycle, but, people just don't pay attention. And one thing that if you have any trust in safety, we used to have, and you had to be an older seller, we used to have a beautiful trust and safety menu where you could go in and see what was a trust and safety issue. They took it away. So I have no idea why they took trust and safety away. If you have anything with trust and safety, if you click on the sub menu, so in your catalog, there's an unpublished sub menu. If you click on that, if you have anything with trust and safety, there's going to be a section on there because that one SKU, even though it's gone, I still have that one SKU. And she said it's going to take like 6 months for it to fall off. So that's a good indicator if you have anything with trust and safety. So then you kind of know, like me and Cody, okay, we've got 1 strike. Are we going to get 2 or 3 strikes? How many strikes are we going to get? But that's a good place to see if you've got issues. because that'll show your unpublished for price. And then if you have something, then there will be an area called trust and safety, and it'll tell you what SKU it is. But I don't think people really know that that's out there to look. You know,
you have to be like looking at it and like actually like getting in there. So, all I've done so far, and I would love any input from you guys. First of all, I cleared out all my errors. I had a ton, like a lot, like a lot. And so not the pricing errors, but there's a menu errors that shows the comp errors. I have 4 new ones after I did all the work to get rid of them. So these are like hot potatoes I need to handle. But just so people know, I have one. It's item is unpublished due to intellectual property claim. That's Gillette, by the way. So that's something that I have. I have a comp error, and then I have trust and safety policy. Maybe these are ones that didn't go through when I took them out or something. And then this one is due to our children's products prohibited products policy. That's not real. Hold on, let me say that again. This item is prohibited due to our children's products prohibited products policy. That can't be real. And then it gives me it's a comp error. So it's the same thing. So what should I do from here to clean it up and sleep just like a baby tonight? Like what steps would you say?
I would tell you to try to retire and keep the activity feed and open up a case, because there was one theme that that everybody will tell you that went to San Francisco last year to the Seller Summit. Walmart has no idea that if anything's broken. They have no idea. They're very kind of segmented. Some of them are in Arkansas, some are in San Jose. So they're kind of segmented. A lot of them work from home. So sometimes they have no idea things are broken. So if you have...
Some of them work in other countries.
Right, other countries too.
My bad.
So if you have something like a comp error and you can't retire it and it's still showing up, I would say open up a case. A, it's going to give you some coverage. It's going to CYA, cover your butt. And B, it's going to draw attention to Walmart that there are SKUs that we try to do the right thing, but we can't in the limitations of their system, the way they have built it up in their interface. So cases, that was one thing they kept saying, open cases. So anything that is giving you any errors that doesn't make sense, open up a case. Because that is one of the ways that they get feedback, is by all the cases that are opened. So I have a feeling that people opened cases like, I'm seeing all my retired, I can't retire these SKUs. And they were like, we got to do something. We're getting too many SKU, we're getting too many cases.
So swing too far the other way.
But I would say just to give yourself, in case, like you said, you get that big bad, we don't want you anymore. You can say, look, I opened up cases. And that's where something like Seller Basics or another lawyer can go to fight and say, Cody did everything right. He didn't sell this. He tried to delete the SKU. This was an older backpack not being made, so they could get a child safety, because it's lunch boxes especially. A lot of people don't get it, but the lunch boxes are one of those hidden things that A, can be antimicrobial for germs for the little kids, but B, it is like nearly impossible to get a child safety certificate for. So if you need that form, those get pulled. I don't know. I guess little kids too. I don't know what little kids do to lunch boxes, but those get pulled on Amazon. They'll get pulled on Walmart. But just watch that. I can drop in the Discord. I have an email, and I don't have it quickly to pull up, but it's like certain things to stay away from Walmart. And some of them we understand, like ammunition, and then way toward the bottom, it's like antimicrobial products. There's certain fungicides that you're not thinking about. But then again, people are going to go clearance. They're going to go into the home and garden section this year.
Sure.
You can sell so much of that pesticide and fungicide seller fulfilled. The moment you try to do it WFS, then you're going to get all these comp errors. And then some of them might be...
That's happened to me.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
And
you're like, it's selling great. I want to send it in so I don't have to... And then, mine was ant bait, and it converted fine.
Yep.
And then it arrived at WFS and then went comp error.
With an error. Yeah.
I went
and
deep.
It didn't happen until it checked in.
I bought a whole pallet of Lysol cleaner, that concentrate that you would add water to and make your full bottle. Sold about 30% of the pallet, and then I got the comp error on it. And then I had to pay to either destroy or recall. And that would be another discussion for another day, that people aren't aware of some of how expensive it can be to get returns back.
Yeah.
from Walmart,
And
and
you're
I would
not
say
going to get it back in new condition.
Right.
They're going to throw it all in a blender.
Or how you can
in
get
a big box.
$70 because I had a vacuum cleaner, so the person put it together, took it back to in store. So they sent me in a huge coffin box. They way overpacked it. $75 to get that vacuum cleaner back because of the store, the way they
That hurts
package.
my feelings.
So which I've always preached, know your fees. Like the people that don't realize that it's $1 more if you price it under $10. Now I know there's reduced fees that's gonna almost offset it in certain categories, but not every category. So I'll see something like in like the home category where they're pricing it at $9.99, and I'm like, why are you doing that? That's not a category that has that reduced fee. But they do it on Amazon and grocery for years. I usually do like, here's your quarterly reminder. Don't price anything $15 in grocery.
Yeah.
You're losing money.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the buy box from you at $14.99 and laugh.
I think one of your posts like that was the first piece of content I ever saw that you put out, and I think that's when I followed you. Side note, we've actually met. I don't know if you remember. We didn't actually talk, but I saw you at a yard sale like 5 years ago or something. It was.
Here's the thing: we went to church together. You were just
Right.
in the kids' church, and I was
Yep.
in the teenage because I'm so much older. But we actually went to church together, and they tell me I went with Haley. But we actually, Cody and I have friends. Because we're from has a population of. Oh, I'm sorry, you might not have wanted people to know where you're from. This town in somewhere in the South that we're from. You can edit out if you don't want me to tell you the town, but
That's okay.
it's like it's I don't know what's it up to, five or 10,000 people, but it seems like
Pretty
it's
small.
like 100 because everybody knows everybody. So we went to the same church.
We're probably related, Amy. We may be
Probably
related.
so. Probably so. And then here's the thing. Then we both end up moving to another city, I won't say, but a little bit further down the road. And then we ended up living
With more targets.
Because you lived in the neighborhood where my best friend lives. So with her daughters.
Yeah, I was like, we were neighbors,
Yeah.
and did.
It's like I see Kate.
Yeah.
Kate. Kate lives in. Oh, I threw that neighborhood out. She lives also very close. So it was so funny. And then Lifestyle for Good lives up here too. So there's like so many things. But the UPS store that I drop off to now, I went to this yard sale one day, and I could tell Isabel and I got out of the car and we were running, and we're like, instantly, this is an Amazon seller, and she was so expensive. And then I drop off at the post office, and I saw her store name on the return label, and I'm like, yep. And then one of my friends sent it to me and go, this is not you, but he had mapped them because of the address, because they have their home address. I don't have my home address on my store. And he was like, this is like 1/4 of a mile. This is not you, but who is this? And I'm like, I don't know, but I went to the yard sale, and she was crazy price. So he's like, she's killing my bolo. But it's just so funny. There's so many people in Atlanta. I try to tell people, it's like, Atlanta's full. First of all, don't come here. But people are like, what about Walmart clearance? And I'm like, well, first of all, our stores suck. We have to drive. That's why you see like Cody get in a car and have to drive like 2 hours in Atlanta traffic to get to a decent Walmart.
There's a specific route. So the guy that works, that he's a Amazon Walmart seller, but he buys for me too. He lives on the very, very other side, and there's a very specific route that if you follow through Atlanta to that way, it's a great route. But if you go any of the other ways, I don't know if it's Kate's backyard or it's somebody, but they get everything, and like Ollie's cleaned out. Any kind of good clearance cleaned out, Target clearance cleaned out, and so you kind of have to learn your area, because if there's somebody like James in your backyard, you might not be able to pay your mortgage because he gets all the good stuff.
So my friend Michael, one day Q4, I'm in my warehouse prepping stuff, and Michael's like, I'm like 1/4 of a mile from your warehouse. I'm at your Kohl's. So he'd hit my Kohl's, my Burlington out in Hiram. I'll tell that. So he'd come all the way over. He's near Lithonia, right? So he's over Stone Mountain, Lithonia.
Oh, wow.
He drove all the way over to hit my Kohl's, all that. I'm like,
I bet I won't say where, but I bet he didn't come I didn't go all the way across. All right, I'm sorry. We should stop doxing ourselves.
I know. But that's why I tell people, I'm like, I go to Tennessee or one of my favorite sourcing trips is my best friend does lives in Pensacola. So we have family down there. So we will source like through South Alabama, and there's like nobody there. And I can hit all those independent grocery stores. But, you know, you talked about meeting me in the yard sale. Because now, James, you mentioned I finally got to the level with eBay of getting an account rep with eBay. So I'm at the monthly level that I get an account rep with eBay. So the day after I get suspended from Walmart, I'm in the car, we're in Fort Walton Beach, and then I see on caller ID, here comes eBay calling. And I'm like, oh, seriously? No, I don't want to. So I'm like, it's going to voicemail. No, I'm not going to, no, you're not going to bring me down today. And then eBay called again, and I'm like, oh, this has got to be bad if eBay's calling back to back. So I answered the phone, I'm like, hello? And they're like, hi, we're trying to reach Amy Carducci. Is this her? Yeah. You know, I'm like just almost in tears going, are you going to suspend me on eBay for what? Like, what did I do? And
microbial.
He was like, hi, I'm your new account rep. And I'm like, seriously? And he was like, I'm just sitting here going, oh, I'm like saying prayers to God, going like, please, Lord, please don't let this, I can't lose eBay too right now. And, you know, it was funny because so I'm like you. So I got an account rep, but it's with eBay. But I'll take it, you know, because they do. And eBay is probably the most like helpful if you do get people dog the platform. My prediction
I hate eBay.
In a couple of
I
years,
dog the platform too.
You know, people talk about it, people hate it, but I'm like, in 2 years, y'all are going to be loving eBay because it's fast money. And people are turning for beauty as beauty gets gated on Amazon, and all these brands, Nike, all this gets gated on Amazon. It's going to raise the prices, and the savvy computer is going to go to Google, and then they're going to be directed to eBay. So I'm like, that's fine. Y'all leave eBay, just go away. I'm just here doing my RA and other stuff for eBay because, you know, I'm like, beauty, it's a growing category on eBay, and I tell people, so if you are looking for those, like the yellow tag sell beauty, I'm like, you should check eBay sold comps because women pay a lot for makeup, and the Amazon prices
the dusty
I'm like,
grocery shelf.
You know, I mean, it is, but you know,
I agree. I think you're right, and I think I'm wrong, but I'm so pig-headed about it. Like eBay crossed me. And I hate them. And if they see this, they can kiss my butt. Like I'm petty. Yeah, I'll tell my terrible eBay story some other time. But basically, I sold a T-shirt as new because it was new, and I had receipts for it being new, and they didn't like. They thought that I was pirating.
Counterfeit.
You know, counterfeit, whatever, and that led to another issue, and then. It was ugly, but I think you're right. Long story short, like I wish I felt that way about eBay, but
it's my thing, and I just tell people, I'm like, it's like you need for all of us e-commerce sellers, we need a primary platform, and I do believe that you do need to focus on one platform, whether it's Amazon or Walmart. There needs to be a primary for your business, for sourcing, for your VA, for all the cogs in the wheel. You need a primary platform. Then you do need a secondary that you can pivot to. But now I'm like, but your side hustle needs a backup hustle. So I really do think it takes, whether it's content creation or UGC, Amazon influencer, if you want to go that route, or you, like you said, you keep Amazon going, because we complain, there's no Nike or Neutrogena and the things we lost, but there's still opportunity on Amazon, and we forget that. But it's there. It's, if you want to find it, it's there on Amazon.
Agreed.
And Walmart, you know, I think it's going through a growth spurt right now. You know, I think they were kind of an infant, and right now they're in that terrible teenage where they're trying to find their footing. And if we get past that, like, annoying stage and we share information, I think Walmart will still be a viable platform. But now you got Best Buy opening up, and Target's a pain. I know people that are doing Target. I think Target needs to decide if they really want to open up a third party. It's too much of a pain right now for it to fit for my business.
I haven't even tried yet.
Same.
So it's very, for Target, you show them your catalog, and you're like, here's 100 ASINs, and here's what I can put on Target.com. First of all, it's all seller fulfilled, so you need policies in place to have seller fulfilled. So it's 100% seller fulfilled, but you give them, say, 100 SKUs, and you're like, here's all my products that I could sell. they will go through and they might be like, great, Cody, we want these 12. And you're like, but what about these other 88? And they're like, nope, we want these 12. So you have to get approval, and there's like no rhyme or reason to what they will take. They do like some of the beauty brands right now that Walmart and Amazon have gated. It's, you know, Target, they like that savvy shopper that's going for that higher end beauty, because, you know, that's a, you know, it's there's Target, Sephora type beauty, and Sephora, you know, the preteen girls want to go to Sephora or Ulta or Target. That's the three stores that my 12-year-old and her friends want to go to. So they're looking for that kind of product. So if you have the right ability to sell or fulfill, and you show them your catalog, it can be a fit for somebody. But it's not, you know, you have to ask permission to sell, and it's each and every SKU that you have to ask permission. So that's kind of very laborious for process. I think they need to do better.
I'll let you figure that out, and then if we're privileged enough to have you on again in like a year or something, you can tell us all the war stories, and then we'll hop in after. I'm joking about that, but Newegg is a potential. Kroger has a third party platform. I'm not messing with any of it. I'm so big. I did. So one of my mentors, Common Ground Finds, Max, he told me how much he made on Whatnot, selling, just doing a Whatnot show. He told me his profit number for last year, and I was like, holy crap, like, you know, and I hate to get, like you said earlier, the shiny object syndrome, but we're wanting to have Whatnot as like a backup side hustle to our backup side hustle. From what you said, we have a retail store, so it's displayed already. Like,
you can just open up your store. I mean, literally. So you have a good personality for it, because you have to have that personality where you like to be on camera or either like to talk. So you have to have that right personality. You know, where you can joke with the people, have somebody reading the comments. It goes much smoother with two people. It's one person can do it. It's a little bit harder with one. If you got two people, so like if you were on camera, but Haley was running the stuff, or even one of your older sons could run it. But you could literally just open up your store, and if somebody saw something, then you could run it. It's a good way to move, especially if you have, in the beginning, to move volume. Say you have those lower end items that you just need to move in volume. Like when you were liquidating, and I was going to Florida when you were liquidating your eBay, because I was like, no, I can't come.
Oh, I wish you had come by. It would have been so beautiful.
And then you weren't open the one day when I came through Rockmart, you know, for family reasons. I was like, I was like, oh, the store, you're not open that day. But, you know, that would be a good opportunity, like when you're liquidating eBay, because it is an easy way to move volume. And then, so you can have it, like I have a friend that does about $4,000, $2,000 to $4,000 shows on Monday nights, and it's stuff from the bins that they have like a $1, $2, $3 buy cost in it, and they'll net $2,000, $2,500 off of that $4,000. So when you talk about that, then you can't beat the margins on that. So and then you build a following, and so your first show. I think Amanda said that time on their show, they had like 26 people. That's actually pretty good for a first show. So if you've got a social media presence already, you like being in front of the camera. So I would say try it 100%. I have a code if you're not a seller already, if you want to sign up through it. But
I wish I could. We actually, Big Queso, friend of mine that's in Tennessee, he started a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I was on his first show. I was his first customer. I was like, this is going to be amazing for you. And I don't know if he continued doing it, but I signed up when he did it, and then never
did anything.
Really did much with
it.
So,
The
fast nickel, slow dime, thing, like, and also when I'm buying, because we're not millionaires yet. Like I'm not even close to as rich as James is. Not even close in the neighborhood. But I have to be picky when I'm buying.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can kind of, I have that in the back of my head. I can take a chance if Walmart spits it back out and says, we hate this Compare IP, BS, whatever. I have Amazon, or I have the retail, store / whatnot. And so that model could, like we've moved stuff, like as soon as we identify it's not a home run, we can just move it at cost in the retail store, and I feel like Whatnot will be a good option for that too. And so we've had a lot of success for like. I remember the retail store. I sold enough in one day to pay for the rent, and I was like, "That's amazing!" Like, I'm celebrating cash flow, not profit. But I was excited about that, and now we've done it consistently on like a weekly basis, and so like we have a decent amount of traffic, and in our town, there's people getting out at 3:00 from school, and also factory jobs and things like that, and they just freaking love to come in and buy a $4, toy.
Well, you're a toy store on the way to the elementary school and home from the elementary school. So kid has a good day at school. Well, let's pop in. They're open today.
Yep. And then they come back, and then and like we're priced better than Walmart.
Opportunity of upsell, right? Because you were talking about this in one of your lives that you posted on Instagram. I actually watched it today. And it was like, oh, they come in for this $2, $3, $4 thing. They end up spending $90 because there's tons of stuff around. That's
We started out putting the expensive stuff on Facebook because we were like, well, if we're gonna take the time to make a Facebook post, we want them to come in and buy something expensive. But now we're putting the cheap stuff because they come in, they're like, I came for this $2 Pokemon card sleeve, whatever. And like we had one the other day that came. It was like a $12 item. They ended up spending like $80 something. Just because we can, like, I have guys that shop Atlanta. I shop Atlanta, like once or twice a week. Plus, what they're doing, like, we're finding the clearance stuff that we're seeing in the, in the Bolo group. We're seeing like that was a soft plug if anybody is taking note. But we're finding the heavy clearance, like the stuff that's $9.99 marked down to $1. I can sell it at 60% off retail and still make money. And, it's a cool thing.
That's what I tell people. We're in a time where, think about it, it's insane. Because when I got into reselling, I got in because I was leaving my daughter at daycare. She was getting dropped off at 6:30 in the morning. I was working at Home Depot corporate down by Truist Park. It's over there by there.
Get out of here. That's so crazy. It's such a small... I know people that work there.
Yeah, and I was driving all the way to Vinings, and it was taking me... And then it was everything I could do getting off at 5 to get her at 6:30 from daycare up by the house. And I'm just like, why am I doing this? We're netting like $300, $400 after my check, after I drive all the way to Atlanta. We pay all this for... Because infant daycare is expensive. And somebody's raising my kid. And I had always grown up... I actually started selling at 8. My parents was at the flea market, sold at the flea market on 41 as a kid, and my mom had a little antique store in our small town. So when you talk about little stores, I'm like, my mom did. That was what paid for our vacations and stuff. When I was a kid, was my mom had an antique store. So I've always gone to yard sales and learned antiques and stuff. So I've been flipping stuff, worked Beaver Creek, which is what my eBay store is named. Cody will know Beaver Creek. Nobody else will, but it's homage to the Arts and Crafts Festival. So I was like in 9th grade, and I would sell $1,200 at Beaver Creek, and that was my money for the year. I had my own bank account as a freshman, and I was like, if I wanted Nikes, I bought Nikes, So, so that's what I tell people. But back then, you were kind of limited to that kind of thing. But today, you can do just Amazon reviews and make a side hustle. You can do UGC content and go after brands and just do that. You can sell on Amazon, Poshmark, Mercari, whatnot. When I went out to Boss Reseller, there's other auction sites. Max Sold, there's another live auction site that I could forward to you that's kind of different, where you don't pay the fees. You actually reserve a time, and then so it's all your money. You just pay like a one-time fee of anywhere from 20, depending on what hours you get for your time. And then so if you've got your own following, then you can say, hey, I'm going live in here. And so it's so there's so many different ways we can make money. So it's kind of like Gary Vee. If you're not making money, you don't want to make money, right now. I'm just like, because you can get started in these with, I was broke. We were broke because when I stopped working at Home Depot, we were couponing. And so we started, of course, books. Everybody starts, I think, selling on Amazon books. And so Danny started pulling stuff from my stockpile. And I'm like, they're not going to buy that. And then he flipped my coupon stockpile. And for a long time, that's how we bought inventory, was coupons. We worked the 12, 13 years ago, you could work the coupon game. We worked the coupon game and then worked up to where we added in wholesale. And, nowadays I'm about 80% wholesale, but I still love RA because when you do it for 12 years, it's hard to not, and you talk about impulse buys.
Yeah.
You're at the checkout and you're going to scan the stuff. I remember back in COVID, that was where you could find so much hand sanitizer because you remember it was at the right there at the checkout, they had all the wipes and all that kind of stuff. But it's crazy. And so
good time.
Yeah, well, I was back to carrot pen days, Frozen. There's still nothing quite like Frozen or the first Star Wars movies they started making back then again. But Frozen was so good. I mean, just anything Frozen just sold and sold.
I paid so much money to ungate Frozen from Entertainment Earth when that movie came out because I knew. I just knew.
And then I sold one of the first things we ever chased when Walmart on Black Friday had like $5 lightsabers, and the movies were coming out, and everybody wanted to dress up and carry a lightsaber to the movie theaters because this was before anything where you could take a lightsaber into the movie theaters. And I mean, we just kept buying them, and we just kept driving to Walmart's, and I ran out of padded mailers and had to pay like $1.50 a piece at Staples to mail these lightsabers out. And then we chased the bulls. But the carrot pens was what told me that I could do travel arbitrage. So we were at Disney on a family vacation. I had finally saved up enough and paid off and went on a Disney vacation. Isabella was 3. And we were standing in the studios at a store, and Danny saw this Zootopia toy, and he was like, do you think this carrot pen's really selling for $125? And I'm like, oh no, buy it. And so it sold. So we had to go to Walmart and you get the stuff, and we went to a UPS store and actually had paid them to print the label out back then. And I was like, yeah, it sold. And so then back then Disney had an app on the phone, and you could put in the item and it would tell you everywhere all over property the item was located. So if it was in a gift shop at a hotel, so back then we went and hit and got all the carrot pens from all over Disney because we had annual passes, so we were getting our annual pass discount. Went to the Disney stores in Orlando, bought all these carrot pens, then hit Disney stores on the way home. Like we went to the Disney store in Gainesville and just everywhere buying these carrot pens. And just it paid for our Disney annual pass. And that was probably the hardest when COVID hit and we finally stopped retail arbitrage Disney. There was one year we probably sold $300,000 worth of stuff from the Disney parks. Dang. So it was very routine for us to go down every 4 to 6 weeks. And
that's amazing.
That's crazy.
That.
And during COVID, we rented a house and we worked out of Orlando for a month. And then one time we did for 2 weeks, and we went back in August of 2020. And I rented a house for a month, and we went into the Disney park. So I was one of those terrible scalpers, with the bags coming out of Disney. With all the stuff, and we just would go in all the stores down there because Florida was so open. And so when people talk about 2020, I'm like, yeah. And there was that month where I had my own pool in Orlando.
By Disney, that's amazing.
We went into.
I've resold some stuff from Disney.
Yeah,
not at that, not even near that level.
Nowhere near that close.
Yeah,
for me.
we did. I mean, it was routine for us to go down, and we would have a spend goal like we got to spend $20,000 this trip, and we would stay like 7 to 10 days, and.
Yeah.
But my daughter grew up going to Disney, but we would make it fun for her. Like I would make sure that for 3 or 4 hours we rode rides, and then 3 or 4 hours mom and dad shopped hard. And
yep.
So
that's amazing. Yeah, I have memories of being in our big van with my kids and hitting Nike outlets like that. And so we would hit so many outlets. I remember coming back and all the kids just had Nike boxes just in their laps, piled up to the ceiling. And so it's just like, there's children in there, I promise, but you can't and so making it fit. But like you said, we had a lot of fun with it, and they did too. And so
memories, right?
Yeah, you make it into something. So well, Amy, we're over an hour. I promised you an hour long interview. I appreciate your time. I know you got other stuff to do, but hey, do you offer coaching or anything like that? Like people that watch this and want to follow, where can they find you? What can they? What do you have going on?
I'm an Instagram e-commerce chick. I used to be FBA chick, but I changed it to e-commerce chick. I'm around in Discords. I don't charge for coaching. I never have. It's just not my thing. But you can always I'm always open up for DMs. I'm a moderator in the Walmart Sellers Network. It is a totally free Facebook group where we try to help you and answer your questions about Walmart. I am very active in a paid Discord called the Sellers Network.
Yep.
I'm in your education Discord. I was trying to think of a couple other Discords, but you can always, ask me questions, hit me up. But I don't do any coaching right now at this time. I did a Q4 group. We had a Q4 group, and I enjoyed it last year. Just for Walmart. So I may do that again in the future, but the other two people are doing other things right now, and I'm not ready to do a group on my own right now. So, but just watch Instagram, because if I do drop into a Q4 group, because I do RA, I love to do RA leads, even though it's not that big a part of my business, but I love RA leads. So
sure. Yeah, still get the thrill of the chase of finding the good stuff. I get that. Well, follow. So it's at the e-commerce chick.
Yep. Yeah.
Or we'll put it in the description below.
It's also right underneath her name.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh nice. Okay. And then go follow her. And then I would love. Heck, we should have done this Joe Rogan style and just did like 2 to 3 hours and told reseller stories, because it sounds like you have a lot of those, and I'd like to hear them all. Like that's the Disney thing. Like my mind's blown. We went to Disney the first time right after COVID had hit, because same kind of reasoning. Florida was more open, and we just wanted to go to Disney, and we resold some stuff. But like hearing, like there's always like another level. Like hearing, because like I kind of consider what we did, like to be a feat. We did shipping and the hotel room, the whole bit. But then hearing you, like that's amazing. Like you can push it to the next level. So.
I've sourced, and it's just crazy. Like even when I went to Vegas for ASD and for Boss Reseller Remix a couple weeks ago, the Airbnb had a Goodwill 4 minutes away and Goodwill bin 6 minutes away. So all my none of the people in the Airbnb, they're all Amazon or Walmart sellers. So they're like looking at me crazy, and they're like, "You're going to the bins." Well, first of all, those were insane.
Good stuff there. There's good stuff there. I know for a fact.
What pained me so bad, and I told like Noah the other day, I was in one of the discourse, and I'm like, it was the Walmart by the airport, because it was like dollar clearance, and Cody will know it's hard to find dollar clearance in Atlanta. I'm like walking in there going, "Are you kidding me?" I mean, I'm here in Vegas, and I'm like, should I get a box? And it was a trip where I didn't really want to do it. I have shipped boxes home from places. But I've taken suitcases before to places, but it was so funny. But there was a great Walmart, and then the bins, I ended up spending $6, and I've already sold and made about $80 in profit from my $6 from the bins. But
that's amazing.
I was just like, I couldn't resist. I'm like, I had to go and do something. But the Walmart clearance out there, I'm like, and you think about that, the resellers there at Prosper, and then the people that were there for Boss and ASD, and I'm like, there's still dollar clearance in this Walmart. Like, what are you guys doing? Did nobody drive to this? I mean, I'm just like,
that's amazing.
I love travel arbitrage. I love it.
That's amazing. You go. I looked a second ago where the beach that you said. We go the complete other direction. We like to go to Hilton Head, and so we go North Atlanta all the way across. Or no, I guess we go straight across down, or whatever the route is. But it's the opposite direction. So when we take those island trips, like that's our focus. We either source all the way there or source all the way back, and like kind of the same thing you're talking about, like. You can do a lot in a trip like that, especially if you have a good anchor product. You can make money on that, and then you find all the other stuff.
Or do BOPUS. Like I've done so many BOPUS orders and popped in and picked it up and been right back, or let them bring it to the car. Because that buy online, pick up, and you just like pull in that parking space and they bring it, and then you're on your way. But I love that. But I love. I opened a fun fact when I worked for Disney. I opened up the Disney Hilton Head Hotel, so I got to stay in Hilton Head for 2 weeks when they were opening that up to the public, and I was on the opening staff. Cool. But I worked for Disney for 5 years, so I got to open up 2 hotels, which is kind of I don't know. It's a Disney nerd thing to say you were on the opening staff and you were sent from Orlando to help them open up to like do the Disney way at that hotel.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's amazing.
But it's pretty.
Well, Amy, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and yeah, we'll see you in the Discord, and then we'll put if you want to go find Amy for she said she doesn't charge for consulting, so hit her up. Go and get that free. No, I'm joking about that, but she is a really good resource, and watch the posts she makes and that sort of thing. So,
Thank you, guys.
thank you again.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
And remember, I am the real James. You can see it right there under my name. And all right, that's a wrap. Goodbye, everybody.